Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing today? Okay, so before I came into my office to film this video, I said to Sean, because you know he's home, I said, so what's new in Twitter world, because he's the twit on Twitter. Everybody knows that. So I said, what's, popping, what's trending, news wise, because he's always up on that stuff, and he goes, nothing. I said, nothing. He goes, nothing. I go, all right. And he goes, that's really strange. I said, yeah. I said, it's almost like the calm before the storm. So let's keep our eyes and ears open and our head on a swivel. Just because when there's nothing trending and nothing popping and nothing like newsworthy, like going and screaming, report me, report me, report me type thing, something's going to go off real soon. Because Sean's one of those ones where he's constantly sending me something, through text or email or whatever, when he's at work and stuff, saying, you got to get this out there. You got to get this out there. He's just like you guys, sending me stuff in email or text message saying, look at this, look at this, look at this, right? So, one of you guys did send me something, okay? But before we get started, coffee. Coffee in hand. Oh, and I wanted to show you, I had gotten this on Amazon, because I'm always looking for really cool things, right? Especially if you can power them up by USB, okay? And I'm on this USB kick. Why? Because of a subscriber, and she goes by JKCO. So, and I texted this to her, and she's like, oh my God, I need one. Matter of fact, she just texted me a little while ago and saying, look at what I bought. It's USB powered. So this is USB powered, and it's to keep your coffee warm. So if you want one of these, they're on Amazon, and you can get them for as cheap as like $10. So I keep that right there. Anyway, so let's get into this, okay? So this article is talking about the largest U.S. food distributor having trouble keeping shelves stocked. And we're going to start seeing this more and more, okay, as the troubling times that are ahead of us get closer and closer. And we're not all going to see this all at once in the States. Some states are going to see it sooner, and others are obviously going to see it later. So one of the defining features of the early phases of the pandemic, when public fear was rampant and when few wanted to take chances that supply chains would remain viable, is that for a brief period, U.S. supermarkets resembled those of the USSR circa the late 1980s. Many items were in short supply, and some, notably toilet paper, Clorox, and perishables such as milk, were out of stock for weeks. Okay, well, we all remember that, right? But let's not forget also like hand sanitizer and stuff like that, right? So fast forward to today, okay? When fears about the Delta Airways, right, strain are being fanned by many, like the liberal media, okay? We'll say Clinton News Network or whatever you want to call it, okay? The U.S. may be facing a similar shortage of key products, only this time for a very different reason. Not a surge in demand, but rather a drop in supply. According to Bloomberg, now this is in the article, it's not my words, right on. Some of the largest U.S. food distributors are reporting difficulties in fulfilling orders as a lack of workers weighs in on their supply chain. Take distribution giant Sysco, and that's SYSCO. You always see their 18-wheelers out, okay? They distribute everything from food to toilet paper. They really do. They're North America's largest wholesale food distributor, which is turning away customers in some areas where demand is exceeding capacity. Worse, food inflation is about to soar. The company said prices for key goods such as chicken, pork, and paper products for takeout packaging are climbing amid tight supplies. In particular, production such as has slowed for high demand, labor intensive cuts like bacon and ribs and wings and tenders. And if intermediate and final wholesale prices are rising, just wait until they emerge on the consumer side. Now, the culprit for the coming price shock. Potato, the catastrophic stymies, right? And the UBI, which has unleashed havoc on the U.S. job market and led to historic labor shortages. We'll get into more of this later on tonight at 7 o'clock p.m. when me and Trish go live. Okay? So there are certain areas across the country that are more challenged by the labor shortage, and our volume of orders is regularly exceeding our capacity. And that's what the Sysco Chief Executive Officer Kevin Hurricane said in a letter to clients earlier this month. Okay. This has unfortunately led to service disruptions for some of our customers. Now, Hurricane's troubling observations were confirmed by an analysis from Decadata. And Decadata is DECADATA, which tracks retailer transactions with shoppers and manufacturers. It shows that retailers are bumping up against manufacturer capacity as they stockpile again ahead because of the holiday season that's coming up. Now, in July, the incidence of suppliers limiting or putting a cap on orders from customers was more than double than what it was in January, and that's what their data is showing. Another major distributor, United Natural Foods, is having trouble getting foods into stores on time. The company blamed not just the labor shortages, but also delays in the procurement of some imported goods like cheese, coconut water, and spices as causing the problems as well. We anticipate additional supplier challenges in the short term with gradual improvement through the fall and winter. And that's what United Natural Foods representative said. So the company's top priority is to support customers by working diligently to recover and bring their shelves back to normal inventory levels as quickly as possible. So what that means, it's about to get bad as the double whammy of insufficient workers and snarled supply chains leads to shortages of key perishables and logically higher prices, much higher prices. So get ready for inflation of levels like you've never seen on certain items. We're already seeing it with meats. Not so much non-perishables. but anything perishable. Produce, meats, dairy, you know, things like that. So, U.S. companies across industries are reporting a dearth of workers amid sweetened unemployment benefits, stimulus payments, and a pandemic that has reduced the appeal of in-person employment. Houston-based Cisco is aggressively hiring warehouse workers and truck drivers and offering referral and sign-on bonuses along with retention money for current staff. The entire food sector is seeing massive labor shortages. And that was said by Benjamin Walker. He's the Senior Vice President of Sales, Marketing, and Merchandising at Baldor, and that's Baldor, Specialty Foods. And he said, service levels are at the lowest I've seen in my 16-year career, and it doesn't seem like it's going to go away anytime soon. Now, finding truck drivers is next to impossible. And he said that while freight costs are rising daily, the company's orders are arriving late and consequently facing delays in being sent to customers. On the outbound side, on-time deliveries are still above 50%, but have fallen from the usual rate of more than 90%. We all thought it would be over by now. It's just one thing after another, he said. And this is going to be the norm for a while now. So I will leave this link, okay, in the description box below so you guys can have your reference right on. I'm just, you know, this is just something else for you guys to have and for you guys to see, okay? Now, where is it? Okay. Now, a subscriber had sent this to me, and I found this to be very, very interesting. And I'm going to read it to you, okay? It's a copy and paste. I can do a copy and paste for the description box, okay? Because I'm going to want you guys to have this reference, okay? Especially for later on for live, okay? Now, this is on the Council on Foreign Relations, all right? And the United States ranks 13th in the world for infrastructure quality, according to the World Economic Forum. That's down from 5th place in 2002. The country and its economy rely on a vast network of infrastructure to move goods and people from place to place, but much of it is aging and increasingly under stress. Thousands of bridges are in dire need of repair, and U.S. airports and passenger rail systems regularly rank behind those of other developed countries. On top of the hazards posed by contaminated drinking water and crumbling roads and bridges, poor quality infrastructure hampers economic growth, causing traffic congestion and other bottlenecks. One reason the U.S. lags behind is that it invests less in transportation infrastructure than many other developed countries and far less than China. Now, transportation investment in selected countries, annual inland infrastructure investment as a percentage of GDP. Now, what's listed right here are the different countries and the percentages, okay? So China, 5.6%, Australia, 1.7%, Norway, 1.5%, Japan, 0.9%, UK, 0.9%, France, 0.9%, Sweden, 0.9%, Germany, 0.7%, US, 0.6%, Italy, 0.5%, Canada, 0.5%. Now, Potato has called for the largest federal investment in infrastructure in decades. And in August, the U.S. Senate approved a $1 trillion infrastructure bill. The federal government's share of infrastructure spending has fallen sharply in the past 50 years, but some experts say state and local governments and the private sector should be primarily responsible for infrastructure. Still, experts agree that major investments are necessary for the U.S. to keep up with its international peers, protect public health, and prevent economic losses. So, thank you, Cyan, for sending that to me. I will do a copy and paste for the description box so you guys can see what I just read. And I'll see you guys tonight at 7 o'clock live. All right. I love you. I'll see you in the next one. You stay safe, stay positive, you keep prepping, and as always, fearless. I got to get my butt in the kitchen because I'm still canning. Ciao.